to this next video entitled Unbelief is a Thief, Series 1. And the message: this many persons or people with scientific interests are robbed and starved of true relationship and blessings from God Almighty because they are led astray, having encountered new scientific discoveries or arguments. This video seeks to reconcile the creation account in Genesis 1 and science with the aim of building and maintaining a faith relationship with God and His Word, the Bible. The method: this video is the first of 2 series, and we classify the creation of the Genesis account, Genesis 1 account, observe any conflicts, variations, etc. with science. And you can see, for reference, the videos Faith or Foolishness and Spinning Top in Mud. And I have used the interlinear Bible for language, which will give you the Greek and the Hebrew back and usage of the words. Alright, let's go into the actual content, and we hope that you will be patient and we ask the Spirit of the Lord's guidance. Earth's ecosystem organization and formation. Genesis 1, John 1, 1 to 3. So for the actors in the creation account, we have the Spirit of God. The first day of creation seen in Genesis 1 and 2. And that is seen as or described as the initiating actor. You see the Spirit of God having a separate name, moving on the face of the waters. And then we have God. From the first day to the 6th day of creation, who is the chief actor, and that there's also a separate name and given. Now, the name is separate both in Genesis and in Greek. Not Genesis, in Hebrew and in Greek. And we see in John 1, 1 to 3, Jesus being identified as that chief actor, being called the Word. Alright? Now, then we have us, plural. The initiating actor plus the chief actor on the 6th day was the special creation activity. And so we see the Spirit of God and Jesus, John 1, 1 to 3. Now John 1, 1 to 3 reads, in the beginning was the Word. That word is termed Logos. And the Word was with God, and that with God is Theos. And the Word was with God, so the Logos was with Theos. He was in the beginning with God. All things came into being through Him. Him there is the pronoun referring to the Logos. And without Him, not even one thing came into being, that was, that has come into being. In him was life, and the life was the light of men. So let's look now at the creation activities. Day 1 to day 6. So we're starting with the scripture reading. Genesis chapter 1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Now, this heavens then is not referring to the heavens with God above that. That's the heavens within the earth realm that we will see as we go along. And the earth was without form and empty, and darkness on the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God, that Spirit of God, that is Theos, moving gently on the face of the waters. Then God, Logos, said, "Let light be." And there was light. And God saw the light, that it was good. And God separated between the light and the darkness. And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And there was evening and morning, the first day. So the evening came first, and then the morning. So in diagram, the earth was submerged in water and darkness. Chaos, water and darkness. And then when God said, "Let there be light," light came forth. And it's separated the darkness from the light. And God called the light part day, and the dark part he called light. And that was first day. Alright, so light came into being. First day. Separating darkness from it. So when the sun set, well, I shouldn't say that, I should wait. The dark part of a day comes first, and the light part comes after. Day 2. And God said, "Let an expanse," some say, some the firmament, "let there be an expanse," of what he used it, "be in the middle of the waters, and let it divide between the waters and the waters." And God made the expanse, and he separated between the waters which were under the expanse and the waters which were above the expanse. And it was so. And God called the expanse heavens, and there was evening and morning. The second day, diagrammatically represented, according to humanetics.stockexchange.com. Humanetics is a very important word. It deals with interpretation of biblical principles, biblical writings. Now, I was glad that I got this diagram, because I was trying to see if I could represent it from my own visualization. So I came upon it, and I found that it was very helpful. Now, the section that is blue, representing the arrows, you see the one that we call by the top is the top of the expanse. The whole space in the middle, where you see the blue arrows, that is that big, the expanse, big wide space Okay? And then we have the earth below the expanse. So then remember the earth was all covered with the waters. No? So God is separating the waters in order to give earth its appearance. So it put separate some of the waters above the earth, and he called that the heavens. You see they have the ocean of heaven. And then we have water the underneath. Alright, surrounding the earth. So this was it, that expanse. Alright, we're going to see what is in the expanse later. And notice, he called that heavens. Right? So the expanse or the firmament, 7. But that is not the heaven where God lives. That heaven is within Earth's atmosphere. God is in another heavens. Alright? See, I have all the heaven. I am only concerned right now with what is going on with Earth. Okay? So watch it carefully. Earth, below, and we still have surrounding waters. And there's waters above, called, alright? And we have that great expanse, that massive dimensional space. Alright? So day 3 now, and God said, let the waters under the heavens be collected in one place, and let the dry land appear. And it was so. And God called the dry land earth, and he called the collection of the water seas. Alright? And then we see the plants begin to sprout with the leaves, like we call that germination. The fruit bearing seeds, and so on. So we have the vegetation coming up. Alright, with all the different types. Okay? And the evening and the morning, okay, that is the fruit. And the plants, and it was the plants, and we have fruit trees all after its kind. Alright? And God saw that it was good. And the evening and the morning was the third day. So let's see it diagrammatically. I mean, I could have got other diagrams, but I like this one. So we see now the earth is making its appearance. So the waters that was surrounding, that was still on the earth, when the firmament was created, now God is now separating that water. And that separation, he called the sea. Right? And so he removed the waters from on the earth that was still surrounding the earth, put it in one place, and he called that sea. Alright? And so the earth now makes its appearance, and we see vegetation now starts to appear. You see the seeds coming up with its fruits and its plants after its kind. Okay? So then we have the 4th day, and God said, let luminaries, he said, light bodies, be in the expanse, to divide between the day and the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons, and for days and for years. And so we're coming with time now in terms of our calendar count. And let them be for light in the heavens, in the expanse of the heavens, to give light to the earth. And it was so. And God made 2 great luminaries. The greater luminary to rule the day, which they call the sun, and the smaller one, and the stars. So the sun, moon, and stars. Alright? So the sun rule the day, and the moon and the stars rule the night. And God set them in the expanse of the heavens to give light to the earth, and to rule over the day and the night, and to divide between the light and the darkness. And there was evening and morning the fourth day. So let's come back now to where the firmament was created. And in the firmament we have the firmament in the expanse now, that massive space. We have the sun that will rule the day, give the day its light, to keep it lighted during the day so we can do our activities. And you have the moon and the stars, okay? And those people in agriculture and soil, particularly, they do use the moon to do the planting and so forth a lot. So that's it. In the expanse or the firmament, they also call it, you have the sun, the moon, and the stars. Okay? And so that's it on the fourth day. And according to scientists, the expanse of the firmament is massive in dimension. They say the sun is 92 million miles away from the earth. And there are other planets revolving around the sun. So there are questions in relation to the other planets and Earth's hemisphere. Alright? However, the creation account is specific to the organization and population of the physical environment, life forms, and activities within Earth's hemispheres within 6 consecutive days. Alright? Now, let's look at day 5 to day 6. And we're talking about creation with living souls. With living soul. So we have in that diagram here, we have birds. We have birds which are also called fowl, and bees fly in the air above the earth. And then we have some on the earth too. We have duck, we have the one chicken and hen and thing like that. And we have those flying in the air. So the category of birds, which was created, these were created on the 450. And they had fish, which they call swarmers. Alright, and the swarmers are the sea and the rivers, the lakes and the ponds, etc. Now, interestingly, we now show, well, actually, basically the mentain is made of seed, alright, and we also have rivers, alright. We don't know when the lakes and ponds get the fish in the lake and the ponds. And we have creepers. These crawl, creepers are crawlers. We have insects, snakes, lizards, alligators, etc. These are things that people, the children know even from since they're very small. And then we have cattle. These will be the goat and the sheep and the cow and the buffalo and the elephants. Alright. And then a category called beasts. There is a wild. These are those wild ones, the cat, the dog, the lion, the tiger, the monkey, etc. So these, and then there is a special creation. So A, B, C, D, and E, birds, swarmers of fish, the creepers, the cattle, the beasts, God called forth. But on the 6th day, the last thing on the 6th day was mankind. which was a special creation, human being, male and female, formed from earth, plus the breath of God. And this was done by the us. Let us make man. The A, the B, the C, and the D, and the E, they were done by that logos. But the man creation, the creation of mankind, or human beings, were done with the us, God, and the Spirit of God. So you don't see the Father and the Son. Let us make man in our image. So we see, and plus breath. Now that breath, alright, is, I think that's quality that gives the life. Alright. The blood is life too. Blood is life. Okay. And so this people have creation with a living soul. When they died in the soul gone. I don't really want to say anything about that. We're just looking at the basic categorization. So we have birds, fish, creepers, cattle, beasts, and humans. Alright, they are within the category of living soul. Okay? The living soul. So we see creation, account. Now this conclusion is conclusion from the facts that went before. The creation account is specific to the organization and population of the physical environment, life forms and activities within Earth's hemisphere within 6 consecutive days. Jesus is the chief actor during the 6 days of creation in Genesis 1 and John 1:1-3. The earth, based on the account, the earth existed before being covered in water, before it was organized for life form during the 6 days of creation. You need to observe that. Okay? Reference to heaven during the creation refers to the vast expanse above the earth within Earth's hemisphere, which housed the sun, the moon, and the stars and waters above the earth. That's the vast expanse. Earth's hemisphere has its own sun, moon, and stars based on the account which the sun, moon, and stars we saw was housed in the expanse above the earth. And there is a symbiotic relationship between animals and humans, they both having living soul. However, humans have specific creation, being formed in the image and likeness of Jesus and God the Father. Observation of Genesis 1 reveals no real conflict with creational science. However, if scientists view and approach God as an antagonist, then such worldview will be reflected in both the scientific methodology, that's how they do things, and the results gained from application of their theories. Alright? So, the video basically was dealing with categorizing categorizing the Genesis account. Alright, just to observe the relationship between the creation and the science. So when students go to school and they get lost being enamored with the impactful information from the instructors and things, and they tend to lose their faith, some of them, because they get carried away with new knowledge and information. So this is basically, the categorization is basically to help with integration of faith and learning. There's no need for the arguments in terms of time and getting carried away. Alright? We just observe the facts that came from the creation account. And so we need to look carefully and see how one complements the other. And from past personal experience, I have had a lot of great appreciation for the Bible by listening to the scientists, okay? But this video is now finished because I had one thing, and that was to categorize and to show that there's really no real conflict. Alright, so until we see again in the next video, may God bless you, may God keep you faithful and keep your faith. Alright, and do not be afraid to approach knowledge. Just try to see how it can help you to even see and appreciate the Bible better.